Hey, in this video, I'm going to talk about the Motorola One 5G and how it is a sneaky good phone still in 2022. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, Motorola makes a lot of phones and they all pretty much feel the same. There's just little differences in cameras, in processors. One has a stylus, but Motorola phones usually all feel the same because they run the same type of software. And they released a lot of phones and they pretty much do everything the same. But this one stands out a little bit. But let's go ahead and give a rundown. This one was released September 2020. So this is kind of an older phone compared to the other ones like the Motorola 5G Stylus, the Motorola Stylus, the 5G Ace, which is very popular. So this is one of the older phones usually. Weighs 7.3 ounces, plastic build, glass front, plastic back, plastic frame, has that water repellent coating, so it's not fully water resistant. The screen size, 6.7 inches, 85% screen to body ratio. That's something that Motorola phones, that's a standard now. They got really big screens. They typically are bigger than the normal 6.5-inch display. Another good thing about this phone that stands out is a 90 hertz refresh rate. Typical normal phones have 60 hertz refresh rate, so you're getting this phone with a smoother scrolling capability. Resolution is 1080p, which gives you 400 ppi density, which is pretty nice. For the software, Android 10, so older version of Android, but stock version of Android. It's going to run pretty smooth for the most part. It has a Snapdragon 765 5G processor, so you're getting 5G speeds on this device with stock Android feel. And it has Motorola gestures, the classic chop for the flashlight, twist for the selfie camera, things like that. Very nice additions, not a lot of bloatware like other Samsung devices. And for the internal storage, you got 128 gigs, and you could add to that with the micro SD card slot, so very nice. One of the few downsides to this phone, for some people, might be the 4 gigs of RAM, which might be too little for if you're a power user and use a lot of apps back to back to back. But for the most part, 4 gigs of RAM for the average user should be no problem. Now, cameras, this is where it gets interesting. So you have 4 cameras on this phone: 48 megapixel main camera, 8 megapixel ultra wide, 5 megapixel macro, 2 megapixel depth. And you can shoot video in 4K, so pretty nice setup. It has the ultra wide camera and the main camera, so that's pretty much what most people will be using. Unfortunately, since this isn't a super flagship, it's not an iPhone, it's not a Samsung Galaxy S21, $1,000 phone, the camera will not be good at night. That's usually the downside of Android phones, if it's not a super expensive phone, is at night. But in the daytime, we'll take nice crisp videos and pictures. And with that big screen, has a big viewfinder, it looks very, very nice. This phone, for the selfie camera, now that's interesting. It has 2 selfie cameras, 16 megapixel main camera and 8 megapixel ultra wide, and it shoots video in 1080p. So that's one standout feature of this phone. Besides the 90 hertz refresh rate is the ultra wide selfie camera. So if you're a content creator, or if you're really into taking selfies for Instagram or Facebook, or if you're taking videos, that ultra wide camera in the front is something very, very different. iPhones don't have that. Most even flagship phones don't have that ultra wide camera in the front. So you have 2 cameras in the front. So that's a very, very nice addition. I think that the 90 hertz refresh rate and the ultra wide selfie camera are the 2 standout features of this phone that makes it sneaky good. Now you have that headphone jack. That's good for some people. Bluetooth 5.1. This phone's going to be just like the flagships to connect your headphones, your smartwatch, your speakers and whatnot. USB Type-C for charging. It has a nice physical side-mounted fingerprint reader. I do not like in-display fingerprint readers. They're very finicky. So it's good that these lower price devices have that physical, reliable fingerprint reader. And the battery, very standard now, a big all-day battery life of 5,000 milliamps. So that's very, very nice in this phone. And you get fast charging at 15 watts. Not super fast, but it'll get the job done for sure. So yeah, this is a sneaky good phone that is not really available everywhere at a decent price, but you could get it on Cricket Wireless here in the US. Prepaid runs on AT&T, 5G. and you can get it for 30 bucks if you port in your number. The great thing about it is that there's no extra activation fees or anything like that. You can get it for $50. They have 2 plans that are unlimited. It's a very decent price, and then you're only paying $30 when you bring in your number. So it's a very, very, very aggressive pricing strategy. It's not going to be free like on Metro, but on Metro, you have to go to the physical store. You have to port in your number. They're going to try to sell you all this extra stuff like insurance and activation fees and this and that. You're going to be paying a lot. So for example, for this phone, you pay $30. You got your, you got to port in your number for another carrier, which is not a big deal because Cricut's a good carrier. You're going to pay for $30 for the phone, and then you're going to pay for the plan itself, which is $50 or $60. It depends. I forgot which one it is, but they're both unlimited and they both give you 5G. And if I'm not mistaken, you might have to get prepaid 2 months of service. But anyways, you should be fine on the Cricut network. And then even after 6 months, you could unlock the phone and use it on any carrier, prepaid, postpaid, whatever, and it'll be good. But yeah, the Motorola One 5G is a sneaky phone. I think it's very underrated. After looking at the specs, I didn't realize that it had a 90 hertz refresh rate. That's something that OnePlus budget phones are the only other ones that have. You can get a free phone and it has 90 hertz refresh rate, buttery smooth. So this is a very sneaky good phone, and it's just like the other Motorola phones out there. It feels the same, has a big screen, big battery, clean stock interface, physical fingerprint reader, and it just has a nice setup. The only downside that I could possibly see is possibly maybe the 4 gigs of RAM that might turn off some power users. But for the average person that does normal app usage, it's not doing a lot of crazy creation and video editing and stuff like that. But if you like the wide camera selfie shots to include a lot more scenery or a lot more people into your shot, this is a great phone for that. There's very few phones that have an ultra wide secondary camera in the front. So thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one.